Alderman Anderson.
Here.
Alderman Meyer. Here. All are here. You have the quorum.
Thank you. Next order of business is approval of minutes from the February 9th, 2015 regular meeting. Are there any comments from the board regarding these minutes? I see no lights. Do I have a motion and a second for approval?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay. Next order of business is public hearing. However, before we start that, I'd like to ask, we do have an appointment tonight that I'd like to get through if the board would so be so inclined. Is if the lady's here, Deborah?
Yeah.
Deborah, would you like to come up, please? Deborah has volunteered to serve on the Parks Board to replace a woman who has recently tendered her resignation, and we appreciate your support and certainly for reaching out to be a volunteer. The board have any questions for Deborah, or do we have a motion to move her up, please?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so we'll take on this appointment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, thank you. Would the board have any questions for the lady? Okay, I see no. Thank you very much, ma'am. You'll need to get with the city clerk at your convenience, and she will swear you in, but we will take a vote on you at this time. That's okay. We have a motion and a second for approval. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You started to walk out, so I want to make sure you Okay, next order, we'll go back to public hearings. We have two this evening. The first one is for the Sappington House restaurant contract, so I will open up public hearing for that subject. Is there anyone in the audience on this side that has any comments or questions regarding the Sappington House bar and restaurant contract? See no hands. Anyone on this side? Yes, sir.
Robert Darkin, 9700 Twin Crest. A 57-year resident of this town. I served on that board 3 years ago, celebrating our 85th birthday. That year we had Christmas proposals. We got three. Two of them were phony baloney. Karen Locke came in here, gave us a good proposal. She did a good job. Before then, that board was closed. Now, last year the board, I know she had cheap rent, I won't deny that, but before that, whatever point, we had nothing. Decided to raise the rent 11.25%. That's way more than inflation rate. That lady needs help and needs help promptly. If you go down there on a Sunday, you're going to get in, but you're going to sit down. You're going to wait. Because most of the ladies, she's been busy, very, very busy. More power to her, we need that. That lady is what keeps our country going, small businesses. I don't know what the contract calls for. I missed a couple of meetings because of my wife. But if you could let me know what the contract calls for, like me, what does the contract call for?
Well, I think it's a little bit more involved than that. This is simply a public hearing. There will not be a vote taken tonight on this issue. So I'm sure that information will be posted if it isn't already on the website for you to review.
Okay.
Or if you'd like, we can provide you with that information.
That lady's doing an excellent job down there, and she needs help. I don't know how, I don't care how the city acquired that, and you own it, but you're landlords now, be a good landlord. Work with that lady. We need her, she needs your help, you need her to help the city along, because in case you don't know what she intends to open up some evenings now, later on. So that means she needs more space down there. So she's busting her buttons down there. She's got a lot, and I think you should give her a little more than what you have been doing. I know money's tight, don't be wrong, but remember, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. Don't you know it take 10 years to amortize things off? You can't do it in 10 days, 10 months? If you have some expenses down every 10 years, you can amortize it off. Think about it. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else on this side care to comment? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for
Robert
order.
Miller, 8915 West County Court. I had just a couple of quick questions here off of this handout that was on the website.
Mr. Miller, would you mind?
February 17 to Simpson from Gillum. I see on the top of the second page here, I quote here, for 2015, the Sapling House has had the following revenues and expenses. Now, I see expenses here, but I don't see revenues. Maybe I'm overlooking something.
Mr. Miller, the top portion of that is revenues, and then the lower
The
portion
first
is
thing
expenses.
says rent, $10,800. That's the first thing. Is that a revenue?
That's a revenue for the city, sir.
All right, so it says for the barn. So is that the total revenue for the operation of the barn restaurant?
If you follow those numbers down, the total revenue is $26,532 for the
Liquor license, I would think liquor license would be an expense.
That,
Or business license, or sales tax. You know.
yes, sir, those are expenses for the tenant, but they're revenues for the city. And I'm trying to indicate the revenues for the city.
All right, so let's go to the last item, 8 on that same page. The city is to invest in the facility, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems. I want to know how much money this is going to be. You know, it could be from $1,000 to $500,000, I guess. That's pretty wide open. The city is to invest. Invest how much? That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any other questions on this side? Okay, see no other hands? No other comments? Any comments from the board? Or questions? Mr. Brady?
Thank you. A crazy idea hit me this weekend. I was driving by the barn and I just thought, has anyone thought about the city of Crestwood taking that over and Karen running it as a Crestwood employee? Has that been talked about? Because we talk about, I'm just going to say it, the naysayers will say Crestwood's not in the restaurant business. Well, if it doesn't lose money, why not be in the restaurant business? If it's a break-even proposition at the end of the day, and we own the building, and she runs the business, and she's an employee of ours, as long as the net sum is zero, it's a great asset to the city. So I asked that just be looked into. I told you it's a crazy idea. It's never been talked about.
I don't know if Karen would want to work for me.
Well, you guys can talk that out in private.
Any other questions from the board? Comments from the board? I see no others. Okay. I will ask them for a motion and a second to close this public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Okay. The second item on the public hearings tonight is the sign ordinance changes. Is there anyone in the public here tonight that wishes to comment on the sign code or sign changes? See no hands on this side. Anyone on this side care to comment? Yes, sir. Sir, please state your name again for the...
Authorized to manage on the front row. As I said before, we're long resident of town. Many years ago, the Crestwood Fest was really booming. Before they reconfigured Second Road, I'm talking about the early 70s, I believe. At Christmas and Easter, you could walk from Big Bend to the plaza up Second Road and beat the traffic without exerting yourself. That's how bad the traffic was. So, at that time, Mayor Kenny had to run south of Providence direction. We're going to put service roads down both sides of 66. You got me kidding. Mr. Dorothy is an expert. And that meeting was defeated because the same room here, this room was grossly overloaded. Twice I went to the fire department with some help, I didn't get it, I won't go into details about it, didn't hear it. Finally, I asked the mayor, I said, adjourn this meeting. Okay, we got the meeting adjourned, and this meeting was defeated. And we defeated the second meeting, so thank God for that. Now, in the meantime, we're concerned about the sidewalks. Crestwood is my mind, you can prove me wrong, I'll stand here and I'll apologize. Since that Crestwood guy is doing so good, we don't need those, these people don't need those signs. No, we're wrong. I made a comment in the same podium, of course, it's long gone, over 15 years ago. You people want to turn this town into the do, please move to the do and let us know and let us run this town like it's supposed to be. That fellow on deputies. So if you truly wrote a statement I made that Crestwood is not business friendly, tell me now. Otherwise, that's it. Well, I made that statement, I'm not going to deny it. I'll speak right in, it's all one book. Crestwood, in my mind, is not still business friendly. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else on this here side care to comment about the business, or the signage code? See no other hands? Okay. Any members of the board care to comment on the sign code? I see no lights. There will be, as I said, no vote on this tonight. However, there will still be another public meeting on March the 9th, 2016 at 7 p.m. here in the Board of Aldermen chambers. There will be a sign commission meeting, I believe.
Yes, sir, Your Honor, it'll be at 6:30 on the 9th,
At
rather
6:30?
than the typical 7 o'clock starting time.
Okay, at 6:30.
Yes, sir.
So we will change this notice, public hearing notice to read 6:30.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, see no other hands, lights? Do I have a motion and a second to close this public hearing?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, next item is reports, presentations, communications, and appointments. City Attorney, wish to? Oh. Huh? Yeah, go right ahead.
Before proceeding this evening, the Board of Aldermen has asked that I read a statement on behalf of the city. The Board of Aldermen and the City of Crestwood are aware of certain public discussion concerning the qualifications of Mr. Ismail Ayuez as a candidate in the April election for member of the Board of Aldermen. Based on Missouri law and controlling legal precedent, the city has determined that once Mr. Ayuez filed his written, signed, and sworn declaration certifying under oath that he met all of the qualifications to serve as an alderman, the city clerk was legally obligated to certify Mr. Ayuez's name to the St. Louis County Board of Election Commissioners. The Board of Aldermen has not judged the qualifications of Mr. Ayuez or any other candidate for office pursuant to the charter. The Board of Aldermen has reviewed and discussed its legal obligations on this matter, and neither the city nor the Board of Aldermen will respond to any further questions or provide any further comment relating to the qualifications of Mr. Ayuez or any other candidate prior to the municipal election to be held on April 5th, 2016.
Thank you. All right, next item is the 2015 annual CID report, Crestwood Market, Crestwood Point, Crestwood Square. Mr. Nasi, how are you tonight, sir?
Thank you. Good.
Would you please pull the microphone down and state your name and business for the record, please?
Sure. Pat Massey, Development Dynamics, 1001 Boardwalk Springs Place in Fallon, Missouri. We provide administrative services to a number of community improvement districts, including Crestwood Market, Crestwood Square, and Crestwood Point. The reports you have before you are our efforts to provide information on the business for each of the districts throughout the year. We try and exceed the required information that's in there so you get a good picture of time as to the business activities. I'm more than happy to answer any questions in regards to those three various districts or anything information included in the reports.
Any questions from the board regarding those? Okay. Any questions from the public regarding any of these CIDs? These are community improvement districts that were established in 3 separate locations here in the city for various improvements. Okay, Mr. Nancy, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is appointments to boards and commissions. We have automatic appointments to the union negotiating committee. I have asked for Alderman Wallach, Alderman Anderson, and Alderman Maybe to serve as representatives to that negotiations committee. They have all agreed, and I would like a motion and a second from the board to approve those 3 for that committee. Have a motion and a second. Alderman made second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen, and we'll be providing you with more information on when that committee will need to do. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Charter Commission recommendations report. Is there anyone here from that? Alderman Wall?
Yeah, Your Honor. I noticed later in the meeting, there's an ordinance in place. I was wondering if it might be an opportunity for us to move that report right before the ordinance, which was set for the new business, was the last item on the city administrator's report.
Okay, you want to make that motion?
I will make the motion to move the presentation, the Charter Commission recommendation report is proceeding before the ordinance for authorized 3 propositions.
Okay. We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Okay, we will move that to that location then. Okay, next item on the agenda is public comment. Anyone wishing to speak before the board may do so at this time on any subject that is not on the agenda. If you would please keep your comments to 3 minutes so that everyone has an opportunity to speak. Is there anyone on this side that would care to speak? Public comment. Yes, sir?
Thank you, Your Honor. Jerry McGill, 7942 Camelot Lane. I understand the statement that you gave the board, spoke to the level of Mrs. Stump, but I do ask you if you would kindly describe the type of document that Mr. Ayuaz submitted. You said it's a certified or certificate. Is it something which has been notarized by a public notary? Is it just his signature? Is it a public document? Can you just explain what kind of a document he submitted?
We're not going to make any comment about it, but it is a public document that I'm sure you could request from the city clerk.
Thank you, thank you. I won't ask any further questions, although I did have some, but I will just make the board aware, I believe, that Mr. Ayuaz appeared before the Charter Commission. And he appeared before the Charter Commission on May the 27th of last year. And he asked the board to change the charter so that he could run for office. And I will quote a statement in the minutes of that meeting. Mr. Ayuaz responded that the time frame to meet the qualifications written in the charter had prevented him from running because he was 19 days short. The subject was discussed, and it was discussed further on the minutes of August the 12th, meeting of August the 12th. There is, again, for the Charter Review Commission to review further. Under qualifications for the Board of Aldermen, there's a statement: consider age 18 rather than 21, inhabitant and a qualified voter of the city of Crestwood for at least 1 year at the time of election. That was to be considered. And in parentheses is the phrase, rather than at the date of filing for election. It's clear that Mr. Ayuaz knew what the charter, the qualifications that he had to meet. And in the meeting of September the 9th, The issue was discussed further. No action was taken to change the qualifications. Mr. Bland, who, a member of that committee, asked our attorney, Lisa Stump, what is your interpretation of the word appointment? And Mrs. Stump replied, I would interpret appointment to mean when you appoint somebody for a vacancy. Just wanted the board to be aware that the Charter Commission considered it. It was clearly understood by everyone present that as far as the language in the charter and what it meant. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on this side care to speak? See no one? Yes, sir? State your name and address, please, for the record.
Steve Meter, 9131 Cherry Hill Lane. With regard to the election when it's finished, let's take the case of scenario that Mr. Iowa, in his honesty and integrity, wins the election. You prepared to seat him against the charter?
Sir, you just heard the attorney say we're
I
not
didn't ask
answering
you.
any
I didn't
questions.
ask you.
You're
I asked the
directing to the
board.
board, and I represent the board here.
No, the
And
board.
that is your answer. We're not answering any questions.
Yeah, hide behind the law, don't you?
Shut up, you know, you have to shut up now. This is good. Wow.
All right.
Okay, candidate.
Yeah, Mr. Honesty and Integrity.
Let's control yourself, please.
I'm controlling myself just fine, thank you.
All right. Anyone else have any questions regarding this issue on this side? See no other hands? All right. Next item on the agenda is the zoning board report.
Your Honor, there's no report.
No report? Okay. Next item is city administrator's report and associated bills. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item on my report is a recommendation to the board regarding the appointment of fire chief. Tonight, I'm recommending to the board the appointment of Dave Oliveri, the current assistant fire chief. Dave was the sole internal applicant for the position. He has undergone a fairly rigorous interview process with myself and the department heads. The firefighters also had the opportunity to pose questions and to make some suggestions regarding his suitability for the position, which was taken advantage of by many members of our department. So with that said, it is my wholehearted recommendation to the board, and I ask for your approval.
Okay.
Make the motion that we accept the approval.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Is there any discussion prior to the vote? See no lights? Okay, take a roll call, please.
Alderman Minor? Yes. Alderman Charbonneau?
Yes.
Alderman Anderson? Yes. Alderman Wallach?
Yes.
Alderman Maybe?
Yes.
Alderman Statter? Yes. Alderman Boston?
Yes.
Alderman Reed?
Yes.
8 ayes, the motion is passed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is an ordinance amending Chapter 13 of the Municipal Code regarding licenses for food trucks. This simply makes it legal for food trucks to provide service in the city of Crestwood. Kind of read the details there, but in summary, we prepared an ordinance that provides a temporary 3-day license for $10 or a $35 annual license. And, we actually have a member of the St. Louis Food Truck Association board and a Crestwood resident, Mr. Jack Williams, here to take any questions if you have any.
All right, let's ask the citizens first. Is there anyone on this side that would care to comment on the food truck licensing issue? See no hands? Anyone on this side that would like to comment on the food truck licensing issue? Go ahead, sir.
I'll just have a little bit. It seems to me that already.
Sir, would you please give your name and address? Thank you, sir.
Over time, might get some movement on a small being rented, et cetera. Well, I think it's a good idea. It's just a sort of bit of humor. You know what they call those food trucks? Roach coach. You ever heard that before? That's what they're called. So you gotta keep them honest and clean. Thanks.
Anyone else on this side have comments regarding this issue? I see no other hands. Is the gentleman here from the, clerk step podium? Perhaps you can expound a little bit on your organization and what you folks do.
Absolutely. I'm Jack Williams, and I'm a member of the board of the Food Truck Association. Fortunately, the term roach coach is pretty much gone for us, I hope, forever. We have to comply with all the same regulations that restaurants do for cleanliness. We get yearly inspections and all that kind of thing. We have about 50 food trucks in the organization now. And there are probably 60 food trucks registered in the city. So, it's become a really popular thing. We've been operating for 5 years now, and as far as I know, other than complaints about the taste of the food, we haven't had any serious problems at all. We recently came to Crestwood and proposed to put on a food truck event at Crestwood Plaza. I don't know if you want to discuss that now, or is that later?
I was going to talk about it right after we finished on this.
Okay.
We can talk about it now.
Go right ahead.
All right. We propose bringing the food trucks from the Food Truck Association to Crestwood Plaza, along with a big band, and we'll bring a stage from the county, and then some other entertainment, and bring some life back to Crestwood Plaza, and bring the community down there so that they can experience something fun and positive in Crestwood Plaza again. As hopefully it'll be for the whole community soon.
Have you done this in any other area with the large food truck?
We participate in several of these kinds of events during the year. This year there's going to be a regional one at St. Louis Community College that has like 50 or 60 food trucks in it. This will probably be the biggest one in St. Louis County so far. This is the first one that the Food Truck Association has organized itself and committed to have all its members, come to sort of an opening of the food truck season, and hopefully opening of good times at Crestwood Plaza again also.
Right. Mr. Simpson, did you want to comment further?
Yes, just since this is a public forum, and we'll use any opportunity to advertise and promote the event, that the tentative date, what we're planning on at least is April 16th. And we don't know exactly, I guess, at this point, how many food trucks are committed, but we're hoping it's somewhere in the range of 30 or 40, something like that. And internally, we're planning on 5,000 to 10,000 people in attendance, so we're hoping to sort of celebrate Crestwood moving forward if everything comes together.
And that's a date that we had a meeting last night. That's a date that the food trucks could attend. We don't have a committed number yet. We're as soon as we get the wording for the certificates of insurance for the developer and for the city of Crestwood, then all the food trucks will send their certificates of insurance in. The food truck organization will organize all of that. We'll send you copies of everybody's health permit, all their insurance, all that kind of stuff, so the city doesn't have to do any of that paperwork. We're probably going to have Joe Dirt and the Dirty Boys, they have about 30,000 followers on their Facebook page. Most of the food trucks have at least a couple thousand. Some have 10,000 followers on their Facebook pages, and we will blast that out to every one of our customers. And then we'll also do whatever advertising we can do with food magazines and the people that we regularly do business with. So we also hope to have 10,000 or so people there. We'll need a lot of people to eat food from dirty food trucks, so we'll do our best to get as many there as we can.
We have a couple comments or questions from the alderman, if you don't mind, sir. Alderman Shelton?
Yes, I just want to commend you. I think this is a great idea in the association and working with the association. I had mentioned some time ago that we need to look at different types of events in the city to bring more people to the city and get awareness. I know anytime my wife and I and our family have tried to attend an event similar to this, If we don't get there in time, we're out of luck. And I think this is a great idea. I commend city staff, everyone for working hard on this. This is something that will bring a lot of people to Crestwood and it'll benefit the whole community. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And one of the reasons that we came to Crestwood is because in the past, when Crestwood Plaza was open and there were food truck events there, it was very successful for us. So, that's one of the reasons that we came to you first. And so we hope it's beneficial for everybody.
Alderman Statter?
Actually, I'm kind of right there with Alderman Charbonneau. I think this is a fantastic idea. Excited to think we might have more events like this in the area. Food trucks have become just so very popular in the last several years in this area. I see them down by the brewery regularly. I know my son's class actually did, I think this was 2 years ago, one of their assignments was to come up with their own concept for a food truck and build out a model. And a gentleman from Walkaway Waffles, who is now his favorite, is that you? He's the one that stepped onto your truck when we went to Kirkwood and he tried to come into your kitchen again.
We need a dishwasher.
Put it to work, he could use that. Absolutely our favorite. So just very excited that you're looking to come to Crestwood.
Thank you. And I'm a retired school teacher, so it's been my pleasure to come to those programs and to interact with the kids and everything.
Well, you made an impression, for sure. They all really enjoyed that, and they still talk about it.
Good, thank you very much.
Any other questions from the board? Sir, we thank you, and we've had a couple of occasions to have your food trucks at events. Our card cruise that was held here in Crestwood, there were several of them there for that, and I know they were very popular and attracted a lot of people that attended the car show. So we thank you. We look forward to this interaction.
Well, thank you. And if there's anything that we can do to help the city, promote this or make it go more smoothly, we'll be glad to do that.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll need a bill, or I'm sorry, we're gonna need a motion and a second for a first reading.
Second.
We have motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Bill number, please.
1577.
1577.
Correct.
Let's head down to Homestead.
You'll be so excited.
Come here, Peter.
Bill number 1577, introduced by Alderman Statter. An ordinance amending Chapter 13, Article 2 in Municipal Code of the City of Crestwood, Missouri to add a new division relating to food trucks.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman Wallach.
Yes.
Alderman Maybe.
Yes.
Alderman Charbonneau.
Yes.
Alderman Minor. Alderman Statter.
Yes.
Alderman Boston.
Yes.
Alderman Reed.
Yes.
8 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for a second reading.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Alderman Charbonneau, would you do the honors, please?
Bill number 15-77, introduced by Alderman Statter, an ordinance amending Chapter 13, Article 2 of the Municipal Code of the City of Crestwood, Missouri, to add a new division relating to food trucks.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Maybe.
Yes.
Alderman Statter.
Yes.
Alderman Boston.
Yes.
Alderman Wallach.
Yes.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman Reed.
Yes.
Alderman Minor. Yes. Alderman Charbonneau.
Yes.
8 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Mr. Simmons.
The next item on my report is an ordinance approving an agreement with a payment recovery provider, which is a very PC term for a collections agency. This is simply to give Judge Newsham the option, if he so decides to use it in terms of collecting delinquent court payments. There's no cost to the city. This just establishes a relationship so that he has this tool available at his disposal. If he does choose to use it, the collection agency gets their money by assigning an additional fee on top of what they're collected. It's just another tool for him. Some folks we need to keep at arm's length, I guess, for certain collections, and so this was one of the ways we thought to make that an option for Judge Newsham.
Anyone in the audience on this side have any questions regarding the this ordinance? See no hands? Anyone on this side have any questions? Yes, sir.
Robert Miller, 8915 West Haven Court. I just have two quick questions. Number one, did this item go out on bid?
No, it's, I mean, there's no cost to the city, so there's no bid necessary.
Why did you sign a 2-year contract?
Because we wanted to keep it open and have a relationship so that we can use it whenever the services are necessary. It's not something that the judge specifically requested. I don't anticipate that he will use it very often because it's not a very popular tool.
Well, perhaps we could find somebody who would only want 10% rather than 20%. Is that of any concern or not really? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is that of any concern that you could have got, maybe only have to pay 10% rather than 20?
That's
Maybe there's friendship involved or something. That's why I would prefer to see it go out on bid. And maybe if you don't know anything about this operation here, whatever it's called here, maybe a 1-year contract.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
May I clarify for Mr.
Sure, please go ahead.
The percentage is allowable under the statute, and I don't think there would be, it's not the situation where you're gonna find a lot of flexibility or change, in different amounts.
The statute set by the Missouri State. Okay. That, explain that for you, Mr. Miller.
Maybe
The
that's the
percentage is
maximum.
set by Missouri State.
Maybe it could be less, 10% rather than, maybe that's the
Could.
maximum.
Could be.
She doesn't know, huh? Either.
No, it's just that it is set by the state of Missouri statute.
So it has to be 20%, that's what I'm hearing you say.
Well, it can't be any more than 20%.
Well, it could be less though.
Could be.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't be wasting
All right, any other questions from this side? I see none. Do we have any questions from the board? Alderman Meeting.
Just on the 20% issue, I wanted to point out that it's 20% is the collection fee added to the principal amount due.
Yeah, that's all spread out here.
Yeah, so it's, whether it's 15 or 20, it doesn't affect the bottom line that the city would receive. I don't know if we're gonna have a ton of success with this. I've had some experience for some other boards with collection agencies, and I think generally they talk a good game and don't come through, and generally you don't get things done until you've actually hired collection counsel. But because this is at no cost to the city, I'm willing to give it a shot. Did have a couple amendments I wanted to offer. The very last couple paragraphs of the contract on paragraph 523, the first sentence, the client's legal department may pursue litigation in the appropriate venue with assistance from the contractor. I would insert the phrase "or without" after "with," so it would read "with or without assistance." Secondly, in that paragraph, the last part where it talks about will mutually agree, I would delete will and insert the word may. And then in the last paragraph, 524 on governing law, I would put a period after St. Louis County, Missouri, and delete the phrase "or a federal court located in the city of St. Louis, Missouri."
Okay. Is that in all?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments regarding this ordinance? On the board? Don't see any. Okay. Do we have a motion and a second for a first reading?
As a point of order, Mr. Mayor, I'd ask me to say just a second on the amendment.
Okay.
Second.
All right. So we have a motion and a second on the amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay. Now, do we have a motion for a first reading? Okay, we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second, first reading with amendment to this ordinance. Bill number, please.
1578.
1578.
Bill number 15-78, introduced by Alderman Austin,
An ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Crestwood with Capital Recovery Systems, Inc. for the collection of delinquent court payments.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Wallach,
Yes.
Alderman Boston,
Yes.
Alderman Charbonneau,
Yes.
Alderman Beatty,
Yes.
Alderman Minor. Yes. Alderman Reading,
Yes.
Alderman Henderson. Yes. Alderman Statter. Yes. 8 ayes, the motion is passed.
We have a motion and a second for a second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Alderman Beatty, would you do the honors, please?
Bill number, pardon me, Bill number 1578, introduced by Alderman Boston, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Crestwood with Capital Recovery Systems Incorporated for the collection of delinquent court payments, as amended.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Charbonneau,
Yes.
Alderman Boston,
Yes.
Alderman Reading,
Yes.
Alderman Minor.
Yes.
Alderman Statter. Yes. Alderman Beatty,
Yes.
Alderman Wallach,
Yes.
Alderman Henderson.
Yes.
8 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson?
The next item on my report is a request to declare 2008 radio equipment as surplus. This is old communications equipment on the police department and a couple other departments. If the board approves, we would attempt to sell it, and obviously you don't know what something is worth until it's been purchased, but we've got ballpark estimates of about 10 to 25% of what it was originally purchased for, which comes out to about $50,000 to $125,000. So what we would hope to get, but obviously kind of depends on the market at the time.
Anyone on this side of the audience have any comments regarding this declaration of radio equipment as surplus? Anyone on this side have any comments regarding this? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address again, sir.
Robert Miller, 8915 West Haven Court. I guess I had a quick question for Mr. Simpson. Do we, as the municipality Crestwood, can we go under the state auction contract where there's a statewide auction contract where these things would all be listed on eBay and we would get a much larger audience around the country where we might get better prices for this? Because I think this is a significant amount of money. Originally it was $500,000, $500,000, and then I probably concur with you, it's 15 or 20%, whatever. But I would think we would get a much larger audience, potential bidders going eBay around the country rather than maybe whoever you might choose to send it to or put it in the whatever local. Thank you.
There is a site known, it's called Gov Deals, and it's basically the eBay of.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's certainly an option. I know that we're also exploring identifying a couple other agencies or departments in the state or in the region that might have a need for this, and obviously we will explore the most effective option there.
Any comments from the board on this issue? See the lights? We have a motion and a second for.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Thank you. Mr. Simpson?
The next item on my report is an ordinance adopting a public works fee schedule. And this updates the fees, various public works applications and permits, amends certain sections of the municipal code. There's a considerable amount of supporting detail here. I think the most important points to make are that this updates our fees and brings us more into alignment with what is being practiced around the rest of the region. And if you sort of sort through City Planner Adam Jones's fiscal impact analysis here, I'll just get to the bottom line. Our estimates range that this will have a positive fiscal impact from anywhere from $60,000 to $90,000 a year based on our current experience.
Okay. Anyone from the audience on this side have any comments regarding the public works fees? See no hands? Anyone on this side have any comments regarding the public works fees? Okay. See no hands? Anyone on the board? Alderman Beatty?
I was going to say, I just appreciate city staff continuing to go through our dust-covered ordinances and fees and bring things up to date. Some of these things haven't been looked at in decades, and I appreciate their work on this, and I think it's a good proposal.
Very good. Alderman Waller?
Yeah, thank you. And again, I do appreciate the staff's work on this one, but some of these fees are substantial increase from the work from previously. So, what I recommend to the board tonight, again, we passed it the first time around tonight, and then for the second vote, we may wait till the next meeting, because some of these fees increase a double, sometimes quadruple. So I just caution that, because we don't know yet from the audience yet, or the residents yet, because most of these fees really goes towards our constituents, who actually has to pay these fees. Whether it's homeowners or our property owners have to pay these fees. So again, although I do appreciate the work on it, I just like to get more feedback maybe from the citizens, make them be aware of these potential changes in fees. So again, just review on it, just for what I'm talking about, in regards to the first one, which is commercial zoning review. Presently, that's $75. The change been reflected as $400. So, again, there are some changes throughout, but I just want to make sure that citizens are aware of the changes, or they may have some issues on it. Again, for regards to home occupancy permit, I don't believe we do charge a fee. Now it's $25 per subsidy fee. Same thing with I believe, the dumpster permit. There's no fee associated. Now it's going to be $50. So there's just more increased fees, and I just want to make sure we're aware of it. Our constituents are aware of it, because it really comes from their dollars, from their pockets. So I just take the opportunity now that if we do pass it, we just wait till the second meeting, the next meeting, to actually formally pass it.
Alderman Stetter?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, I would second Alderman Wallach's thoughts on this. I think some of these, especially the ones that we weren't charging anything for in the past, and suddenly we are. Are we expecting, what would be the benefit? Do we have an expected amount of revenue that we think we're going to get? Is there a reason?
$60,000 to $90,000 more than we're currently taking in.
Okay.
And at this proposed rate, we still wouldn't come close to covering the costs associated with staff's work in processing many of these items.
Okay, that's good to know. And one in particular that stood out to me is special events. And I know that we encourage in the fall every year the National Night Out. I worry that putting something like this in place, and I'm assuming that this would be for a block party, that would be considered a special event?
I believe so.
No?
Adam's saying yes, Chris is shaking her head.
We don't charge for night out.
Well, right, but we would if we did this, wouldn't we?
No, this is just for, this would just be for special events, like if you were to close a street that required police to look at it and staff time to action. So if you had to actually submit the permit, then it would be $79 from now on.
Doesn't that happen on night out though? I know that there's streets that shut down for block parties.
I don't know if I've been involved with night out, so I don't.
So this is something we encourage every fall, and several neighborhoods do regularly do this. I would hate to think that we are going to discourage that. And it's, of course, something that we could, like on a national night out like this, that the board could then address and waive the fees for that event. But I want to make everybody aware that that might be something that we want to look at. All right, thank you.
Alderman Sharpman?
I also just wanted to commend the staff for looking into this. As Alderman Raby has pointed out, many of these have not been updated in a long time. On top of that, pretty much a lot of municipalities around us have very similar fees, and they're just, when I spoke with my real estate agent late last year about some stuff, and he pointed out that we don't have a lot of these that surrounding neighborhoods do have, and recommend us taking action on it. So I just want to commend you all.
Thank you. Alderman Anderson.
Thank you. I just had a question on, with regard to variances. The current fee is $325, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I note that there's quite a bit of frequency with respect to that, and sometimes those are situations where a person's trying to improve their property but falls within maybe a technical area. So that might be one area where I wonder whether we should, have the increase to 500. But I would, I think we should take a look at that. So I would second what Alderman Wallach was proposing with respect to the ordinance.
Alderman maybe.
I don't think I have any further comments at this time. I was gonna briefly point out that I think even after, our city planner's recommendations, the fees would be at or below every single one of our neighbors' fees, all of whom have balanced or close to balanced budgets, while we have a deficit budget of $600,000.
Thank you. Alderman Breeding.
Just in full cooperation with Alderman Statter that we should vote next meeting. I know we have a block party every October, and $79. I'm not sure if anyone would volunteer to be the block party organizer to pay the $79 fee. Maybe we'll wait a meeting.
Okay. I just want to make a quick comment with how to read this. So basically, the fees that have been called out tonight are indicative of the fees that St. Louis County charges. So when you're reading this fiscal impact analysis, the dark green numbers are directly related to the fees that the St. Louis County would charge you. So that's the reason that those were put in there. They are direct copies of that.
Any questions from the board? I see none. Great.
Can you take questions from the
We have
audience?
a motion and a second. We took public comment at the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second for first reading. Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Bill number, please.
1579.
Pass that down to Alderman Breeding, please.
Okay, bill number 1579, introduced by Alderman Green. An ordinance to adopt a fee schedule for the approval of various public works applications and permits, and to amend certain sections of the municipal code relating to inspections, permits, and fees.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Maybe.
Yes.
Alderman Breeding.
No.
Alderman Minor.
Yes.
Alderman Charbonneau.
Yes.
Alderman Boston.
Yes.
Alderman Wallach.
Yes.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman Stack.
Yes.
7 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for a second reading.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed say nay. Nay. Okay. Hold it over for next meeting. Pass it down, please. Mr. Simpson?
The next item I'll defer to Alderman Wallach as requested.
Alderman Wallach, would you like to make your report now for the Charter Commission?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Last April, again, I had the opportunity to be the automatic representative for the city. Along with that, we had other members consisting of prior aldermen, prior members of the 2005 Charter Commission, as well as the original Charter Commission. Again, we met from, the first one was April 25th, 2015. And the last one, as noted earlier, was September 9th. We really did not make any really significant changes, although some of them could be called maybe housekeeping issues on it. What we discussed on it, again, we went from cover to back. We went through it entirely the first time around, and then towards the last meeting, we actually made the recommendations that's before us tonight. Proposition 1, which is really, as it indicates, is section 3.2 of the charter. That's really just adding in additional clarity for the charter as it relates to authorized members and authorized membership. Throughout the charter language, it has the mention of authorized members and membership throughout. We thought it makes sense to put that definition as it fits within the automatic position of 3.2. Then in regards to section 4.2, we really don't appoint a mayor. We elect a mayor. In the event of if the mayor is not available, it's actually the Board of Aldermen, the president then becomes the acting mayor. So just basically striking out some language in 4.2 for the mayor, which is basically striking out the date of the appointment to the office, because again, it doesn't really apply in our case. And then the last one is section 13.8, as it reflects to the Charter Review Committee. Throughout time, we always have questions, when do we meet, when do we meet? We asked for more clarity on that, so now we're going to have more clarity for the citizens as to when that actually is. And also more clarity as to when we actually meet. One of the reasons that we dealt with in 2015, there was no general election in 2015. So that's why we had to wait until 2016 from November is the next general election. So the other change that we have in section 13.8 is changing it to the next general municipal election. It makes sense because we all have a vote in April of each year, whether it's the automatic position or the mayoral position. So again, that's what the commission members had recommended to the board to go to the voters, are these three propositions.
Okay. Any questions from the board on that report? Yeah. See none. Thank you, Alderman Waller. Appreciate that. Mr. Simpson?
I have nothing further to add.
Okay. Does anyone in the public on this side have any comments regarding the three charter amendments? I see no hands. Anyone on this side have any comments regarding the three charter amendments? I see no hands. Okay. Then do I have a motion and a second for a first reading?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Bill number, please.
1580.
1580. Yes, Alderman Anderson.
Bill number 15-80, introduced by Alderman Anderson, an ordinance authorizing three propositions and calling for an election within the city of Crestwood, Missouri on November 8, 2016 to amend three sections of the city charter as proposed by the Charter Review Committee.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Boston.
Yes.
Alderman Charbonneau.
Yes.
Alderman Minor. Yes. Alderman Breeding.
Yes.
Alderman Beatty.
Yes.
Alderman Statter. Yes. Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman Wall.
Yes.
8 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for a second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. You have it, Alderman Boston, or does Alderman Minor? Thank you.
Bill number 15-80, introduced by Alderman Anderson, an ordinance authorizing three propositions and calling for an election within the city of Crestwood, Missouri on November 8, 2016 to amend three sections of the city charter as proposed by the Charter Review Committee.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Statter. Yes. Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman Wall.
Yes.
Alderman Boston.
Yes.
Alderman Charbonneau.
Yes.
Alderman Minor.
Yes.
Alderman Breeding.
Yes.
Alderman Beatty.
Yes.
8 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is perfection bills. We have bill number 15-75, an ordinance amending chapter 7 regarding fences. This was an ordinance amending chapter 7, article 2 of the municipal code of the city of Crestwood, Missouri to revise section 7-33C 302.7.2 relating to fences within the city. Alderman Wade, did you have comments regarding this?
Yes, I had one minor amendment I wanted to offer. On 302.7.2A concerning the materials, and we previously inserted wrought iron and composite wood. After composite wood, I would make an amendment to insert the word masonry.
Give us that section again, please.
It's 302.7.2A, in section 1, I'm sorry, on the first page.
Oh, okay.
That came to me as I was driving to work through a subdivision that involved some nice masonry combined with wrought iron fences.
Okay. Okay, do we have a motion for a second for the second reading as amended?
It's a point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Second on the amendment, or?
Okay, fine. Do we have a second on the amendment change? Second. Okay, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. All right. Now we have a motion and a second for the second reading.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, would you pass it down to all of them, maybe, please?
Bill number 1575, introduced by Alderman Minor, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 2 of the Municipal Code of the City of Crestwood, Missouri, to revise Section 7-33, subsection C, 302.7.2, relating to fences within the city.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Charbonneau?
Yes.
Alderman Minor?
Yes.
Alderman Boston?
Yes.
Alderman Wallach?
Yes.
Alderman Statter?
Yes.
Alderman Anderson?
Yes.
Alderman Beatty?
Yes.
Alderman Brady?
Yes.
8 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay. Thank you. Next item is introduction of other bills. See none. Next item is reports from the mayor, board members, and city attorney. Mr. Green?
Thank you. The Public Works Board met last week and had a great discussion on sidewalks with most of it. We also briefly discussed the trash service contract. The Public Works Board would like to get together with other boards just to bounce off some ideas and have a brainstorming session. When you see that group work together, my gosh, they really are into it and want to see Crestwood beautified and all these other things. It was a great meeting. The other thing I had, I was going to read a letter tonight from a citizen of Crestwood about the mall, but I just was informed that I would be violating the next door neighbor operations privacy policy. So I won't be reading that letter, but you can find the letter in the call labeled, "We are citizens of Crestwood, not citizens of Lindbergh Schools." In order not to violate this website that it's joined, I won't read it. Interesting. Thank you.
No? All right. Alderman Wallach?
No report.
Alderman Statter? Alderman Sharp?
I have no report, but I do want to make an announcement. A while back, I discussed some initiatives that I was taking to stay more involved in the community with not just the people of Ward 2, but the citizens of Crestwood. I just wanted to make a quick announcement that I'll be holding my first event, Juice with Justin, Saturday, March 5th at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here at City Hall. It's basically similar to a town hall forum. However, instead of being more formal, it's kind of envisioning as a sitting around the table and discussing and talking about issues and ideas and ways we can improve the community just in general, and just to stay in touch with you all so that all opinions are welcome, everyone's welcome. There will be juice served. In the future, we hope to have this type of event at many of the Crestwood businesses and restaurants to benefit them as well. So just wanted to make that announcement, Saturday, March 5th at 10 a.m. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alderman Beatty?
The next Economic Development Commission meeting will be on Tuesday, March the 15th at 7 p.m. in this room.
Okay.
That That's an election.
It'll be next Friday.
Well, in that case,
Friday, it'll be Friday.
okay, Friday
We're searching for a date. I don't have a long.
All right, scratch that entire announcement. I'll update the board on March 8th when our next meeting will be.
Alderman Boston?
Yes, I'd like to give a report on the fire board meeting that I attended last night. I'd like to put some of the numbers on it. I think they kind of show how efficient our fire department is. The total training hours for the firefighters in 2015 was 5,625 hours. It averages out to 312 hours per firefighter and 26 hours per year, which is quite a bit of training. But I commend the chief and the assistant chief on staying on top of all that all the time and keeping everybody up to training. Also, the kitchen is just about completed. They put a complete new kitchen in. The firefighters did almost all of this work on the kitchen, and they've just about got it completed. They also installed, the firefighters also installed all new lockers into the engine house. They installed 21 lockers in there. They did all that work themselves, and all that work's completed. Also, the inspections for the year 2015, of all the businesses in the city, there was 518 violations, and through re-inspections and staying on top of all this, all of them are 100% corrected, which I think is really great. But anyway, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Anderson?
No report.
Alderman Meyer?
The sign commission met on February 17th, and we too had a very lively and exciting discussion on the sign ordinance review. I would like to give a shout out to that team, and especially Jim and Roseanne, for the work that they're doing to go over these ordinances, and as Grant says, dust off some of the things that need to be dusted off. We had a visit from the owner of Rich and Charlie's, who did not bring us anything to eat, so he can't come back. And then we will have our next meeting on March 9th, so please feel free to attend and join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Gray?
I did forget one thing, Thursday, March 10th, the Board of Adjustment will be hearing information on the variance request for the redevelopment on Old Sappington. I forget the address, but the neighborhood knows, just as a reminder.
Over the creek.
Over the creek and through the woods, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. City Attorney?
I have no further report.
Okay. Before I give a report, I'd like to refer to either Chief Arnley or Chief Manning with regards to an incident that occurred recently involving one of our police officers. Go ahead. If you would, Chief Manning, appreciate that.
Around 2 a.m. Last Saturday morning, Officer Adam Bless was on routine patrol down Sappington Road and spotted what he thought was a fire underneath the vehicle. By the time he was able to turn his vehicle around and verify the vehicle was in fact on fire, parked next to the house. He immediately notified the fire department and got the family out. So due to his quick action, essentially the vehicle was destroyed, but the house was not, and the family was safely removed.
Very good, thank you so much, and just goes to show the type of dedication and professionalism that our services, both fire and police, provide us, and I hope that a recommendation or commendation, I should say, goes in that officer's file for a job well done. Okay, as far as my report is concerned, we've started a program whereby we are visiting local businesses in Crestwood, and I had the pleasure of touring the Weir Minerals facility down on Grant Road this last week. They are a producer of pumps utilized for in various types of manufacturing operations, predominantly and heavily in the mining business. So their pumps will move, heavy materials, sands, silts, things of that type. And they employ 140 people out of that operation. And if any of you are familiar with them, they recently took over, or I shouldn't say recently, they've taken over within the last year or so, the old Tallman Plumbing Company, which was directly across the street from our public works garage on Party. and they've now opened that up into a production facility, and it's quite impressive. You really don't realize, I don't think, the types of businesses that we have, some of the unique businesses that we have. Weir Minerals is a company that is worldwide. They sell a lot of pumps and things to the oil industry, to the Saudis, to Iran, to a lot of other countries that we would not think of. But was quite impressed with their operation, and they greeted us with open arms, and certainly were thrilled to be able to show us what they had to offer. So I just wanted to mention that. It's another great company within Crestwood that supports our community with their taxes, and we certainly appreciate them being here. So that's all I have. Next item is introduction of future issues. I see no lights. Old business. I see no lights. New business. I see no lights. I need a motion and a second for adjournment. I'm sorry, City Clerk, would please read the notice, special notice.
The Board of Aldermen is scheduled to meet this evening in closed session immediately following this meeting in order to discuss matters in accordance with Missouri Revised State Statute 610.021, 1 and 12. In order to adjourn to closed session, there needs to be a motion